Thank you, Julia. Welcome, everybody, to Recovery Dharma. My name is Josh, and I'm one of the facilitators here at Soul Center out of Spokane, Washington. We are exploring this month the concept of curiosity and in relation to uh, the first step of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is right view or right understanding. Julia has reframed the eight steps along the Noble Eightfold Path. And Lo can post a link to the website so you can see those. But curiosity is what we're exploring this month. And I was listening to a meditation of Julia's last week, and her voice sometimes has the effect of really relaxing me and letting me zone out. And then sometimes her meditations hit me like a just a punch in the face, but in a good way. Uh, and she was talking about curiosity the other day, and I started thinking about curiosity. Um, and just kind of had like that, was like, oh wow, curiosity. Uh, it's it really is an amazing, powerful force that comes from within all of us. I mentioned during that meeting how, in my opinion, curiosity is the reason that we're not all sitting in the branches of a tree right now. As human beings, over the countless years that we've been on this earth, for better or worse, it's curiosity that's gotten us here. Uh, and in a much more here and now sense, I look at this room and it occurs to me that every single one of us needed to use curiosity to get here. You know, this this is a recovery program, and so I know for a fact the events that led me here. There was a moment where I asked myself, what can I do to change myself for the better? And there wasn't a single answer, and it certainly wasn't a straight path that got me here. But if I hadn't had that curiosity and been able to ask myself and then other people, I got turned on to recovery Dharma while I was at inpatient treatment. I started exploring through the magic of the internets. I was able to find Soul Center. I landed here and it stuck. And I'm just so grateful that there was that curiosity that wasn't something I consciously sought out. The curiosity came from within. Um, and using that to motivate me set me on a path that is 180 degrees diametrically opposed from the path that I was on before. And this one, it's it's serving me and the people around me a lot better. So very grateful for curiosity. Grateful that all of you are here and whatever curiosity it took to get you here. I'm sure glad to see all your faces. If you would like to join me in a meditation that I prepared, we'll welcome the sound of my bowl and welcome all of you. Invite you to find whatever position of comfort works for you. Sit in your chair, lay down on your bed, walk down the sidewalk. If you are able to find a position of stillness and it feels safe and you're comfortable doing so, feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze and just settle into this moment, here and now. No need to think about how you got here or where you're going after. Just be right here. Bring your attention to your breath and just breathe in and out. As you breathe in and out, just let it be a natural cycle, filling and emptying. And as you're breathing, bring your attention to the idea of this meditation tonight, which is to explore curiosity, the energy of wondering, asking, seeking, and exploring how it can lead to personal growth when guided by wise understanding, which we've learned is the first step of the Noble Eightfold Path. Keep in mind that curiosity is neither wholly good nor wholly bad, but it's just a force that, when accompanied by wisdom and skillful conduct, tends to open and transform our lives for the better. As you breathe, letting that natural cycle continue, bring to mind a simple image of curiosity: a child reaching toward a bright object, a question forming in your mind and on your tongue, a door half opened, that thrill of discovering something new. Let that image rest gently in your awareness. Notice any sensations, feelings, or stories that arise, and hold them with friendly attention, free from hurry, free from judgment, free from criticism. Let's reflect briefly on the curiosity across the arc of our lives. As you continue to breathe, imagine your life as a series of stages: childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, mature adulthood, and then later life. And for each stage, allow a single memory or image to surface and notice how curiosity showed up there. Breathing in and breathing out. Consider your childhood. Picture a time when you were very young and a question opened you, perhaps about how a toy worked, why rain falls, what lives under a rock. Are the trees moving, creating the wind? Feel the straightforward wonder that children often show: fearless, direct, and purely experimental. Notice how curiosity in childhood is largely exploratory. It invites play, learning by doing, and breathe into the warmth of that early fascination, that innocence. Recognize that this raw curiosity laid important foundations. First, neural pathways of habit, the early seeds of values, and the way we all learn to relate to the world. Now shift to adolescence. Bring to mind a time of testing boundaries, searching for identity. Curiosity at that stage of our life often became more sharp, more urgent. Questions about who you are, who you want to be, what group you want to belong to, what feels forbidden or thrilling. Sense the intensity of this curiosity, sometimes leading to meaningful risk taking, sometimes dangerous risk taking, growth, independence. Other times, curiosity leading to confusion, embarrassment, or hurt. Notice how the rewards and costs of curiosity at this stage of our lives carried moral weight. As we move to early adulthood, recall a moment when curiosity prompted new commitments, choosing a career, forming a partnership, maybe moving to a new city, diving into a studying subject that captivated you. Here at this stage of life, curiosity can manifest almost scientifically as hypothesis testing, experimentation, trying a new job, trying an adult relationship, choosing a path for life, and see how these experiments, whether they led to success or failure, taught durable lessons about choices and preferences. And as you breathe, acknowledge the courage it takes to continue asking questions and making choices. Now, imagine mature adulthood. Perhaps curiosity becomes more subtle, a desire to deepen understanding, refine skills, to mentor someone younger, to heal ourselves or repair relationships. It may lead to mid course corrections informed by our experiences. Notice how curiosity, now tempered by consequence and care, becomes more discerning. It seeks not only novelty, but meaning and ethical clarity. Finally, bring to mind late life. Curiosity here can be reflective and peaceful about the nature of change, about the story one has lived, about interdependence and what one might leave behind. There is often wisdom born of many experiments, and curiosity can become a compassionate interest in the welfare of others and in the simplicity of simply being present. As you hold these stages of life gently in your awareness, sense a common thread. Curiosity was the engine of learning in every stage, and its outcomes were shaped by context, guidance, and the presence or absence of wise understanding. Now, as you breathe, turn inward and explore how curiosity results in growth through both positive and negative outcomes. Bring to mind a recent moment when curiosity led you to try something new. Could have been something small, trying a new recipe, or large, changing jobs, moving to a different city, or embarking on the journey of recovery. See clearly what happened and notice the immediate feelings: anticipation and fear, delight, glee. Observe the outcome of those curiosity moments without labeling good or bad, just seeing them as they were. Allow yourself to recall a time when curiosity produced a positive outcome, discovery, connection, a new skill, a clearer sense of purpose. Feel the warmth of that positive result. Recognize the conditions that supported it, perhaps guidance from a wise friend, honest reflection, ethical consideration, or a supportive Sangha. And now recall a time when curiosity led to a negative result, harm to yourself or others, loss, embarrassment, maybe physical pain. Breathe into that memory without judgment. Be gentle. Notice the ingredients that contributed to that: lack of information, impulsivity, disregard for the consequences. Honor the learning that arose from that negative result. Sometimes pain is the teacher that discerns where boundaries are needed or where character must deepen. And as you breathe, let your breath go in and out. And sense the simple truth that curiosity itself is energy. It can open paths to growth and insight when guided by wise understanding, and it can cause suffering when untethered from ethical clarity and discernment. In this practice, we're taught that wise understanding sees causes and effects clearly, how actions rooted in greed, hatred, and delusion lead to suffering, and how actions rooted in generosity, compassion, and clarity lead to well being. Wise understanding is not merely an intellectual idea, it is the lived recognition of where curiosity fits within causes and consequences. Now, practice a brief mindful experiment in imagination. Think of a small curiosity that you can explore in the next coming week. Perhaps learning a new breathing practice, asking an honest question in your relationships that you're in, reading an article outside of your usual interests, or cooking something new that you haven't had before. Visualize your intention, the possible consequences, and a wise step that you can take to reduce harm and increase learning. See yourself taking that step, observing the result, and using it as data for further wise understanding. And as you visualize that little experiment, note how wise understanding and repeated wise behavior create a virtuous cycle. Each mindful experiment, whether it leads to joyful discovery or painful correction, contributes to greater clarity. Over time, curiosity guided by wisdom tends to produce more positive outcomes because you learn to ask better questions, recognize pitfalls sooner, and act with care. And if any doubts or resistant thoughts arise, greet them with compassion. Know that honest fear and doubt are natural signs that wise understanding is present. They can encourage precaution rather than paralysis. Offer yourself this simple vow: to let curiosity be a friend that asks with kindness, seeks with humility, and learns with patience. Namaste. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, everybody. Always good to see your faces, both familiar and the new faces. I hope to see you again. I'd like to close this out with a dedication of merit. May the merit of this practice be shared with all beings. May the curiosity we cultivate bring wise understanding, lessen suffering, and inspire compassionate, skillful action. May those who are struggling find clarity and ease, and may wisdom guide every heart toward awakening. Namaste.